Hey everyone, this is Elias from RefMatch Media, and today we're going to be taking a look at the 2023 Chevrolet Colorado ZR2. Now, this guy may be blue, but you definitely won't have the blues driving this. Let's get started. Now, before we get started, if you guys want to see an additional video of the Colorado, it wasn't the ZR2, but it was the Trail Boss and the Z71. You can go to the link wherever they are, where I got to go on the media drive for the new Colorado, and it was fun. I got to show a bunch of different colors on there, so definitely check this out. This one, we're gonna take a look at the ZR2 specifically. So a couple of things. We take a look at the front, and well, first the blue. Yeah, the colors options that Chevy has given for the Colorado has been incredible. This blue is probably up there with the yellow. That's pretty good. And I will say I miss the orange. So I do miss the orange that we had in the previous generation. That was one of the things that was like really cool because it kind of looked like a pumpkin. If you got black wheels, you basically got a pumpkin truck. So I do miss that. But with the ZR2 here in this blue, it looks really good. Now, a couple of things do change. We do have a more aggressive hood on here. So yeah, I like it. It adds more to the kind of aggressiveness to it. So we have that there. Now, the front grille area, we do get the flow tie on here. So yes, it is an opening for air to flow through. We get this kind of blocked off. Yeah, I don't know if this probably would have made more effort in getting air in, but it is kind of blocked off there. We do get the kind of Hulk Hogan pseudo mustache kind of thing going there, but I do love that. And again, we do have the front facing camera with this. This front facing camera is great because it goes with the 360-degree system that this has on the mirrors and on the back, except for some reason, I don't know why Chevy didn't option this specific one with the bottom camera. Yeah, so you do have the option of having a bottom camera. So when you're on trails, you could kind of see basically your drivetrain and see, you know, where it's going. If I can find it, you'll probably see it here, but we did get to, when I went to the media drive, we did have one truck that did have the lower camera. So I'll kind of show that to you guys there. But yeah, this front end is really nice. Now, when you get the ZR2, you do get a little bit of a bumper cutout here compared to the non-ZR2 model. And that's because it's going to help with the approach angle of this big guys here. It's nice. I love it. I love it. Whether we're functional or not, I do love this little cutout we have there. We do have the red tow hooks on here, which is always a favorite of mine, you know, having little red accents. And we have some protection here in case you really want to get crazy with this guy. So we do have some front protection there. Then we have the LED lights, and I love them. You know, we have this aggressive kind of swoop at the top, and we have the LED light itself. And then in the front as well, we do have the tiny LED fog lights, but definitely effective. So I guess it's the positioning and the really high output that this had to help out with illuminating the road. But overall though, this is great. Nice ZR2 badge, nice flow tie, nice blue color, nice aggressive look to the front. Yeah. So let's go ahead and see what we have under this hood. We get under the hood and we have the 2.7 liter turbocharged inline 4 high output engine cranking out 310 horsepower and 430 pound-feet of torque. It is connected to the 8-speed auto and then to the Chevy 4x4 system. Now, we no longer have the V6 and we no longer have the diesel option. So with the Colorados and with this one being the ZR2, we only get the inline 4. Now, this is the higher output model, which you can actually get in the Trail Boss as well as the Z71, which is nice. Now, a couple of things that I disliked about the previous gen was the transmission. The transmission wasn't the fastest of shifting, and this is better. It's not perfect to my liking. It's not perfect, but it is significantly better. When we went to that media drive, it was basically, it sounded like they were maybe covering for the fact that the transmission can't take the added torque that this has to have faster shifting, which is probably why we don't have a sport mode in this. Now, with this being the ZR2, we do gain the Baja mode, which is my favorite. Speed and on unpaved roads, or, you know, terrain that's not paved, is my favorite. So definitely the Baja mode is one of the awesome things about the ZR2. As far as the power though, it's been great. You know, it does kind of have an old school, I felt the turbo lag a little bit more with this than I did the other Colorados that I don't believe had the high output. So it might just be because we get more of that power, but it's still great for highway passing. Again, the transmission, if you're kind of like, if it's in 8th gear and you kind of slam it, you know, accelerate down, or I want to say it's probably like 3rd gear, that if it has to go to that, it's a little bit more delayed. So just be aware, if you're just kind of rolling about, you know, 30-40 miles an hour and you need to kind of go, that's where it's gonna be a little bit more delayed. The power delivery has been fun to say the least. Traction control keeps everything literally in control. We did run across some really bad rain, and this guy was, you know, able to get that power down. We put it in 4 auto, that it does have, to make sure that if things got a little bit slippery, we did, or if I put my foot down a little too much, that the power was going to distribute a little bit better with that. But other than that though, this guy is incredible. I love this new 4-cylinder turbo. Yes, I know it's not the V6. Yes, I know it's not a diesel, but I feel like it lets Chevy focus on one engine and just make that engine really, really great. Well, let's go ahead and see what we have in those wheels and tires. We get down to the wheel and tire package, and we have this nice 17-inch wheel, and it is wrapped in the 285/70 Goodyear Wrangler Territory MT. Now, this thing is incredible. Yes, the ZR2, we get this first. The wheel, it's a nice bronze looking color to it. It's a little bit dirty, not too much, but that's pretty much the color that it is. So I do love that. I love the aggressiveness. You do have a beadlock capable option on it. That's just as good. It looks just as nice. You have it's a very similar design, and you have the ring around it. But yeah, this still looks really, really nice. I don't know if I would change these wheels, which sometimes you kind of get that feeling with other off-roaders kind of thing. But the tire is so meaty and so aggressive. It's definitely performed well on the streets and on unpaved roads like this. It gets the power down. It gets the truck turn. It just, oh, and it performs very quietly. Yeah, that's the biggest thing. The on-road, it's super quiet and it's not pulling at the wheel. It's just a really great performing package. The brakes are great. You do have a good grip to it. The pedal, yes, Chevys past Silverados that I've driven, it's been kind of difficult to brake because you're having to put so much pressure compared to what you're getting in braking power. Now with this though, this has been exceptional. I love the pedal feel to it. No issues there. Then we get to the fancy suspension. That really isn't fancy, it's just dialed in so well. So we do have the Multimatic dampers in this, and it is just so dialed in. It's great for the road, great for off-roading. It's, yeah, you don't have a fancy knob or switch to have to go into and have the characteristics change. It's basically just a great overall setup. It's been awesome. Yeah, I keep saying that, but it's just super, super impressive at how good this thing is. But yeah, loving this, everything that's kind of going on in here. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Let's go ahead and see what we have on the side. We get to the side and we can see this thing looks mean. It looks like a mean little bulldog, and it really acts like one too. So we get started on the front. We can see the headlights kind of peeking out a little bit. I love this fender. This fender's really great design because we kind of have this part here that makes it seem like that is the original line of what would be a more standard Colorado, and then it kind of kicks out here to make it seem like it has flares, and it does. It's really on the wider side. These lines just look so great. And then we have the wheel arches here, which are nice. I love the black contrast especially with this blue. This blue looks so good in this sunlight. So it's definitely one of my favorites. Then we have the 17-inch wheel, which we can see looks great. We do have a good amount of clearance still here when we're having some fun. And we come over here, we have the black mirrors. We do have the camera system under here to be part of the HD surround. Only thing that I was kind of confused is it's a shame that as far as the mirrors, it doesn't have power folding mirrors. Yes, I know it's not, you know, a fancy schmancy kind of luxury truck, but when you're out on the trails, and yeah, it's not the widest of trucks, but anything helps. When we took out the ZR2 Bison Silverado, that was a lifesaver because that guy is really wide and I needed to multiple times fold the mirror. So it's definitely a shame that it doesn't have power folding mirrors. We do have the Colorado badges. Wish we had maybe like a ZR2 badge here. I know we have it in the back, but this would have been a nice look to it. We have the protectors down here. Yeah, let's just say these guys are really helpful. Not necessarily on this truck, I haven't tried them out, but I have tried them out on the ZR2, on the Silverado ZR2 Bison, and those definitely saved the truck itself. We do have black framing here. Now, we also kind of have like this indentation, which again simulates like a fender flare here, which is really cool with the ZR2 badging, and we'll take a look at the taillights. A couple of things with this is this has actually been from the previous generation. The truck bed has been dropped a little bit more, a little bit lower, so it's easier to go ahead and put things in there. But it's still high enough that, you know, kind of safety, any eyes kind of wandering makes it a little bit, you know, still give you that security. You also have tons of truck bed options to cover that up as well for safety. So overall though, this thing is really nice. I love the side profile to it. Let me go ahead, and I have my key fob in my pocket, and I go ahead and do that. Yeah, it doesn't open. You do have the chrome button here where you go ahead, you push it, and you open it up, and you're good to go. Now, go ahead and close this off, and you lock it. And again, we don't have a sensor, we don't have the button. You do have to push the front button and then unlock it here, and you're good to go. Big openings for both front and the rear. It is a little bit on the tough side to get in when you don't have the steps. Obviously, there's different options you have to take these out and put other options on. But yeah, with jeans, I was kind of having, there's supercar entry and there's lifted awesome truck entry as well. So I definitely had to do a little bit of a hop to get into this big guy. But yeah, like I said though, overall, this side profile is so nice. Let's go ahead and head to the back and see what we have back there. We get to the back, and yeah, you can probably see from this angle the wide hips this has. It's so nice. So we get to the back end. It's really, I love it. I love the design we have to this. Again, a lot of sharp angular design, a lot of powerful points of design. Yeah, to make this little guy again seem like that little bulldog. And we get started on the taillights, and we do have the LED taillights. So there are conventional bulbs for the Trail, I believe it's a Trail Boss, yes. So that's kind of when I was like, okay, I want this Z71 trim, but the problem with that is you don't get so much of the off-road ruggedness, and that's when you get the ZR2. Yes, we add those up, and it seems like you're adding up the price to get to the ZR2. But yeah, we have those taillights, and I love the design. I love the fact that we have the cover on the outside is red, but we can still see the design elements inside. So love that. The bumper. The bumper has been one of those things where it's when I get the ZR2. I like that mentality because I want this truck. I really do. It's a shame that I don't have the option for the side step like you do in the Trail Boss or the Z71. That was such a big selling point for the previous Colorado that I had with my neighbor, really, because you have in any Chevy truck that has the bumper cutouts. So it's a shame that this one doesn't have it when you get to the ZR2. I believe it's because of approach angle, or maybe just the design or departure angle, or maybe just because of the design aspect of it being different, ZR2, so that. If I get my ZR2, and anyone that has a Trail Boss or or Z71 that wants to trade, let me know, and I'll definitely be willing to trade for those cutouts. But that is one thing that I miss. Other than that though, it does look great. It does have this great texture at the top as well. And yeah, 6,250 pounds of towing definitely is going to be enough for the Miata. We were, with a heavy trailer, we were kind of thinking at about 5,000 was what I was looking for. We're at 6,250 with this, so that should definitely give me enough to tow the trailer with the Miata, and maybe a couple of tires or something else along that. And I have read on Facebook, on the Colorado Facebook group, people towing Camaro Z01s, which are significantly heavier than the Miata, and no issues. They say it tows really well, so we have that. Tailgate nice and stamped. We do have the camera here for that 360-degree system. Nice ZR2 badge. We go ahead and we open this up, and it is dampened, which I like. The damn thing isn't gonna fly down, or come down really fast. So I do love that. We have the tailgate. We do have measurements. We have a big ruler here. We do have storage in here, which is nice. If you want to have a couple of drinks in here, you could throw in some ice, and it has a drain plug here for you to make sure that it doesn't stay wet in there for you to clean. So love that. Or if you just kind of want to have some small tools in there, it is very easy to open. Yes, I know we have great storage here, but when we get inside, yeah, that's going to be a big debate of kind of why it's tough with this truck and storage. We do have a sprayed on bed liner, which is nice. We have different attachment points here. We have a power option there. Nice ZR2 branding in the back. And the other thing with this that I love about this tailgate is that you can, if you don't want to open it up all the way and you kind of want to have it hang, you have that option with just that. So it gives you that option here, so you can have it that opening. I believe they said if you have like a board of plywood, this helps out and puts it on the fender wells as well. So really cool option to have. No fancy aftermarket parts needed. It's just built in. And we do have some nice kind of like digital versions of like terrain design up here, which is good. And yeah, pretty much. And the tailgate weighs almost nothing. It's so easy to open up. I could probably, let's see if we can close it with one finger. Okay. Yeah, literally with just one finger I can get it closed. So yeah, that's it. Now let's go ahead and get this started. And yes, we don't have a big roaring V6 or crazily V8. Yeah, this is not gonna have that, but it doesn't sound too bad. So we're gonna get this guy a little warmed up because it's a little cool yet warm, and let's go for a drive. You get inside of the Colorado ZR2, and there is a massive upgrade of tech and just a better overall look to a more modern truck compared to the previous generation, which again, I was a massive fan, but yeah, we needed to bring that little guy or big guy into the modern era of things, so to speak. So let's get started on a couple of things. So we get started on the door, and the door is nice and comfortable. The armrest there is good. The top part is perfect for me, so no complaints there. I am still going to complain though that the door, it's just, as far as storage, there's not much. There's not much storage available. There's literally for like one water bottle, and that's it. There's like a little cubby, but just seems kind of worthless and pointless. So yeah, and you'll see that storage for this truck is kind of a small problem. literally. So we have that. But other than that though, the finishes are so nice to this. We do have a more rugged kind of plastic up here, but it doesn't feel cheap. Usually when you have that rugged, like, you know, easy to clean material, it's because it's a cheap plastic. Not really. This feels actually really nice compared to others that I've driven. But overall, love the door, no complaints there. We come over to the seats, and the seats are nice and comfortable. So because we have the ZR2 and we have convenience packages and all the goodies on this one added, we do have leather seats, and we do have heated and cooled options. Yes, right now it is 59 degrees, and I had to actually turn off the heated part, even though it was on 1, because my butt was starting to get really toasty. So yeah, and I actually countered it with a little bit of the venting, because I am kind of, yeah, I got my sweater, so nice to kind of keep me at a good temperature. But the venting yesterday when it was like 89 degrees was great. Today that it was 59 degrees, you know, the heating element are really nice and keep you nice and toasty. And yeah, overall though, it's a nice comfortable seat, no issues there, no complaints of like side bolsters, no, yeah, it's just a really good seat, and it looks cool. I love the yellow stitching that you will see around the Colorado ZR2, but overall, no complaints about that. Then we get over to the steering wheel, and the steering wheel is nice. So there's a couple of things that feel significantly upgraded with this. So we do have the leather on it, and I wish it had that yellow stitching, but it doesn't. It has just a lighter gray color to it. Yeah, missed opportunity. I would have liked that kind of pop to the wheel, because it is a little bit on the darker side, because we do have the black bow tie, which I do love. I do love the black bow tie, but I think that little stitching would have been nice, the same yellow that kind of goes around everywhere. But the wheel feels good. Ergonomics are nice. They're just really good in this. So on the right hand side, we do have kind of your infotainment options. As far as like phone, you know, music selection, we do have the heated option and the gauge cluster controls. On the left hand side, we do have your cruise control options. We're gonna get to these buttons in a little bit. They have been kind of, I feel like something is missing, or I'm not doing something right, but yeah, that's what we have. And on the back, we do have your volume and the next track option, which is good, and I'll explain why we need to kind of get accustomed to this, because yeah, we haven't been able to get accustomed to the other volume knob that we have in here. But yeah, that's the wheel. There's really no complaints as far as, you know, the ergonomics, the feedback we're getting from it. It's really nice. Now, as far as the buttons though, that kind of moves me to the gauge cluster. The gauge cluster, we have the bigger option, which I believe, if I'm not mistaken, correct me YouTube, Chevy did upgrade all the major ones. I'm talking Trail Boss, Z71 and ZR2 to have the bigger screen. If it doesn't have it, don't get it, because the bigger screen is just so much better. I did experience the smaller screen, and when I got into this, I was like, wow, this makes a huge difference. So definitely you want to go with this bigger display. Now, the problem I have with this is we have that button for the different views, and I keep wanting to, okay, go ahead and like my trip information, I have trip 1 and trip 2, and I'm trying to push down this button on the side here on the wheel to kind of see if I can scroll through things, and it's not giving me that. I don't know, I may be doing something wrong, but yeah, these buttons that do this, yeah, that's the volume there. And yeah, I don't know what these buttons do. That's gap adjustment. I don't know what they do in the sense of why aren't they doing the more basic function of changing parameters in here? Why can't I go in here? And I tried looking in here. So again, YouTube, let me know, because I might have missed something. I don't know why I can't. I was going through the settings and wasn't finding anything. But yeah, on the gauge cluster though, we do have some great different options. Other than that, we do have some great options. We have this kind of digital tachometer in a bar kind of fill option. We do have kind of these off-road settings where we can see the pitch, the roll, the off-road setting that you're on, the steering angle, the transfer case, that kind of stuff. Your differentials, if they're locked or unlocked. We have simple. You know, if you're cruising, you don't want to be bombarded with information. You just want to have the simple speedometer. Digitally, you can have that. And then we can put it in an analog view, and then we have the typical dual analog. I say analog, but I mean like digital needles, digital analog gauges. But yeah. Oh, the other favorite thing is we have Google Maps. So we could use Google Maps on here, which was actually great. It's pretty responsive, but my favorite though is Apple CarPlay. So Apple CarPlay Maps. And it's just because that's kind of what I've always used. But the reason I say it's my favorite is because I can switch between. If you're a Maps user, a Google Maps user, or an Apple Maps user, you have that option, which is great. Not a lot of brands, they'll usually say, okay, on the gauge cluster, you can only have our proprietary map. This one lets you choose between them. What I love about this is that my wife wanted to have music on here, and I needed to know where the hell I was going. So I did have that, the Apple Maps on here, and it was guiding me, and I knew where to go, and I wasn't able to, you know, interrupt. I wasn't interrupting her and switching it over to something else. So I did love that. Now we get over to the infotainment system, and yes, we have a digital display. Yes, we have a nice, sharp, crisp, beautiful display. I love it, and it's been one of my favorite things about this. With the previous generation, we were lacking a little bit. We do have an Apple wireless CarPlay, which is nice, so no cables are needed in this, so it's a really, really nice setup. The other thing as well is the Bose system in this. Guys, get the Bose system. I'm not a Bose fan, but I've driven both Colorados with and without the Bose system, and let me tell you, the Bose system is night and day better. It is significantly better, and the amount of money you're gonna spend to try to upgrade those speakers, just get the Bose and it's great. The only thing though is that you have a Bose speaker up here, and it does have a like a aluminum little Bose badge. You're gonna wanna I've seen some people online take a Sharpie to it or put black tape over it. Reason why is it does reflect on the windshield. So just little pro tip, just you're gonna want to Sharpie that out or put the tape on there, because it was I didn't believe people, and then I got to drive and I was like, whoa, I can see the Bose thing glaring at me. So definitely want to do that. Now as far as the volume knob on this has kind of been, it's convenient, but you kind of have to get used to. What I mean by that is it's up here. Typically we have things down a little bit lower, or we have as a button on the screen, but we have it super high up here, which, yeah, I get it. You kind of want to do that, and I mean, you should want to do that, but we've been programmed so much to kind of go down, and it's been the temperature gauge kind of thing. So I do see that being something that I had to get used to, and just kind of practicing and remembering, oh, it's up here. The other thing that kind of sucks is that my wife has to reach all the way over here if she wants to change the volume, which probably would have been better over here, because at that point I have my volumes behind the wheel and can do that, and then she has access to this one should she want to. But the infotainment system has been great. You have all your different shortcuts, you have all the different views that you can put your terrain, you can set up your cameras, which again, with this, it's incredible that, I'm going 30 miles an hour right now and it's not turning off. It stays on. Yes, thank you for, especially like a vehicle like this, sometimes you need the camera to always stay on, and you don't want it to, sometimes you're not going under the 5 miles an hour that I've seen some have, for it to turn off. So definitely a nice thing to have this, and everything looks so clear. Everything looks so nice and clear. Oh yes, so let's talk about the elephant in the room, the lights. So as far as the lights go, the only way you can turn on and off the actual lights, the headlights, is this little guy up here. So you do have to press there, and you do have to go off, you do have to go auto, you know, city lights or full lights on. You still have the high beam on the stick here on the steering wheel, so you do still have that to make sure you have that on. Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit while I kind of do my quick 3-point turn, which is actually really good. I was impressed with how good the turning radius is on this. But as far as those lights go, honestly, I didn't care about it. I didn't care that it was on the I didn't care that it was on the infotainment system, because I don't remember the last time I turned on a light switch other than having it in auto, because it just did it. It just did it when it needed to, till we got a massive torrential downpour. I've never been in a storm that crazy. I think it was like 3 inches of rain in like less than an hour. Insane. So I needed all the visibility possible, and I would have liked to turn on the fog lights, and it took me a while to turn on the fog lights. I had to go here, then I had to go to actually vehicle, because I have it as a shortcut, but if I didn't, I had to go to, you know, vehicle and then turn on fog lamp, front fog lamp lights there. So yeah, that was kind of, and I had to look for it. If I didn't have this there, I would definitely have to go to home, and then in this case I have to swipe and then controls here, and then I have that there. So it's a couple of steps that I would have liked to avoid by just having a button, physical button there. But other than that though, it's been great. I love this. Then we come down here and we have a lot of the convenience things, like the vented seats, the heated seats, you know, and all of your AC controls down here. Very simple, very straight to the point. I love it. We come down here and we are completely loaded with these fun buttons down here. Because we are in the ZR2, we do get a lot of we get all the options actually, unlike some different trims, which you're gonna have to trade off some for others, which is kind of, I get it. But as far as what we have a rear locker, we have front and rear locker, we have your auto start stop hazard, we have lane keep assist, we have auxiliary power, and we have a power, oh, I pushed it by mistake. We have a power, all down power window button. So I'll go ahead and demonstrate that now. And yeah, we basically brought down all the windows, which is nice. It's so nice outside. So we have that. We have down, but we don't have up. So yeah, I kind of have to, oh yeah, and this is the only one that's auto to go up. So I have to kind of hold the others for them to go up. Yeah, we talked about that with the engineers, and they said it's a safety reason, which, yeah, I see it, but I want the up as well. So we have that. Then we come down a little bit more and we have the wireless charger. Yes, this has the wireless charger, which is why the Apple CarPlay experience has been so good. So literally, let's go ahead. Oh, before we do that though, we have a USB-A and USB-C charging. We have it here because my wife just kind of, her case doesn't let her charge wirelessly, so she was using this. Let's go ahead and chuck it and see how it works. So yeah, we have that wireless charger. You can see, you can literally just chuck your phone in there and it will start charging with no issue. And we come back a little bit more and we have the drivetrain selection. So we have the drive modes that we can go to. We have Baja, we have normal, we have off-road, we have tow haul, terrain, and then back to Baja and then back to normal. So I do kind of feel the truck moving kind of like, okay, cool, we're getting kind of situated, we're getting ready to do whatever you just selected me to do. So we have that. But on top of that, we do have also the drivetrain selection. So we do have auto for 4 high auto, we have 2 high, we have 4 low, and then we have a actual 4 high on, basically. So we have that. Then on the right hand side we have the shifter, which is nice. I love the feel of it. There's no complaints. It feels really nice. It has a nice leather cover to it. It's unfortunate that we do not have a manual mode. I wish this had a manual mode for the transmission. Yeah, it would have been great if we had manual paddles as well, because at that point we definitely would have been able to have some fun when we are in that Baja mode. We come back a little bit more and we have the cup holders. The cup holders are okay. This is really as big as you can get. Anything bigger than that, you're gonna have issues with the armrest and just the opening itself at the bottom. So my wife's big water bottle does not fit in here, and she had to awkwardly put it in here, which she wasn't really a big fan of, and we can't put it on the door. So yeah, that was kind of a problem with her water bottle. And then we come back to the armrest, and the armrest is nice, it's comfortable, it positions your arm where it needs to be to, you know, grab the steering wheel. No issues there with that. The material is nice as well. It's a little bit more on the rugged kind of leather, but it's nice. I love the way that it feels. And we open it up and there is not much storage. We do have this little kind of cubby, and yeah, again, probably my test with the tissue box would probably fail because of the top opening for this. But yeah, again, storage is kind of a problem with this truck, which is a shame because we carry a lot of stuff. So yeah, that's kind of the only thing. I do love the fact though that we do have additional cup holders back here, which is nice to have for people in the back, or if you're getting food for everyone and you just need to have a lot of cup holders, you have that as an option. Then we get to the back, and the back is nice. It's comfortable. It's got a good amount of space. The doors actually open up really good for you to get in. Of course, it's gonna be tough for my little guy because we don't have the side steps to kind of get in, but he was comfortable, no issues there. Only problem though, again, we're going back to storage, is we do have an issue with under the seat storage. It's pretty much non-existent. I literally tried putting 2 water bottles. Now, yes, they were bigger than this. There were, I think my wife's like Fiji, those square ones. I try to put them in the back under so that they're not exposed directly to sun heat, and you know, they stay kind of cool. And they couldn't fit in there. I could not fit 2 water bottles in there. So yeah, that was kind of a big issue with again, storage on there. But other than that though, the back is, like I said, the back seats are nice and comfortable. We do have something that someone complained to me in the Colorado Facebook group, because I said, hey guys, I only have this for a week, but you guys own it for as long as you've owned it. So what are some things you don't like? They don't like the fact that the back window isn't a powered sliding window. So yeah, personally, I'm not a person to have windows down. So for me, it doesn't bother me, but I can see that, you know, especially when we have, you know, if you want to just have some fresh air coming in, or if you want to kind of put something through, you don't have the option of, you know, just kind of doing it from the driver's side. You do have to manually open it up and manually close it. So I get that. Oh, the other thing they complained about is we don't have like a home, like, you know, for garage door openers on the truck. And yes, this is a pretty pricey truck, and yes, we're talking about luxuries. Yes, we're talking about things like that. But when you get to that price tag, some things should kind of, and I get it, but some things should kind of start to already be standard, I would say. So yeah, I get it. I get it is what I said. Now, the engine has been a massive talk about this truck, and that is because you no longer can get a V6 and you no longer can get a diesel in this. Yes, now I get it, because the V6 was pretty good. Transmission tuning was not the best. Didn't get to drive the diesel, but yeah, we have this. We do have different power outputs, so this is obviously being the highest output that we have for the Colorado. Let me tell you, I could care less about that V6. The engine in this is pretty damn good. It really is. It's impressive. It has, I believe, more torque than the diesel and more horsepower than the V6. So what? So you do lose 2 cylinders. Yes, you gain a turbo, and yes, I know the concerns about, you know, kind of turbo maintenance as far as, you know, future things being replaced and that stuff. I get that. But you know, modern day turbocharging has been incredible. The reliability has definitely been there. So let's have some fun. Now, as far as the drive modes, the big thing that even when we were doing the press media drive for the regular Colorado, we didn't have a sport mode, which was kind of a letdown because we wanted a sport mode in something like this. We still don't have it in the Colorado, and I think it may have to do with the transmission. The transmission doesn't really shift as fast or sharp as I'd really like for it to. And yeah, let's just say I can kind of speculate it's because it can't handle sharper shifting. The WT, which is the work truck base model, actually can shift faster than this because it doesn't have the amount of torque that this has. So they put it as a safety to have the shifting not be as fast. Kind of a shame. Now, if we were to put, hypothetical, if we were to get the transmission on that one and put it on this one, it wouldn't work. It wouldn't work because, again, it's the tuning. It's the tuning, and they don't want it to break, so they slow things down. Yeah, it's unfortunate, but let's have some fun. So I'm gonna hold the brake, hit the gas, let it spool, and away we go. It's pretty good. Off the line, it's a little suffering. I don't mind the sound. The sound is pretty good. The brakes have been so good in this. Yeah, so one of my biggest things is Chevy trucks don't have the best feeling brake pedal. It's been like super stiff and you're really having to put a lot of pressure down. Not with this. So this has a nice immediate bite, and it has a good controlled bite as well, which is good. The suspension though, the suspension on this is insane. The suspension in this is crazy because this is not a fancy schmancy, well, super fancy schmancy electronically controlled dampers where you select all these drive modes. No, it's just great valving. Yes, it does have the extended so the Multimatic, it does have the extended reservoir for additional damper fluid, so to speak, but it is so dialed in. The shocks, you know, the springs are just so dialed in with that damper. It's incredible. And yes, you get a little bit of a nosedive when you hit the brakes, which is expected. Obviously, it's not the smallest of trucks, but also those brakes are really good. So it's, you know, kind of putting it down. And yes, the transmission kind of takes forever there to switch to the next gear. But you're gonna have to get used to that. So highway passing hasn't been too bad in this. So downshifts though are actually pretty good once you're kind of up into higher gears, but lower gears, yeah, like if you're really like on a highway cruise or just kind of on a cruise and it goes down to the highest, and we have the option of going down to maybe like third, I would say, yeah, you're definitely going to have it take a while. But it's been impressive. The power delivery has been so fun. You do have a little bit of a turbo lag, so you do have it present. So I did notice that, but the sound isn't too bad. Yes, it's not a V6. Yes, it's not a V8. Not sure we can probably fit a V8 in there, but it's great. I love it. It's been the biggest thing again though is definitely that suspension. Yeah, we're hitting some pretty good bumps here, which will have some fun off-road, but yes, this thing is incredible. Now, as far as getting this truck, yeah, it's a little bit on the pricey side. So I've been debating between getting this in, you know, getting it in Trail Boss trim, getting it in Z71 trim, or going ZR2. So Trail Boss, we get a very bare, very simple, very bare bones off-roader, which is great. You don't spend too much money on things. You don't, you know, relative. you know, you have a lot of plastic front bumper because you're probably gonna break it kind of thing if you're off-roading. So we have that. We have bigger tires, bigger lift, that just kind of wide stance to it. So that's that. But Z71 has the creature comforts. I am getting older. I am loving creature comforts. I love, you know, wireless Apple CarPlay. I love the, you know, seats, the heated vented seats, you know, all that stuff, all the tech. Yes, I know I'm getting older, but I love tech. So we get all those great things because you don't get it in the other one. So what do you kind of do? You go ZR2. ZR2 is going to be the mix of everything. It's going to give you the off-road capability, better cutouts in the bumper for better approach angles. You have, you know, locking differentials. That is the massive upgrade from the non-ZR2 to the ZR2. So the other ones do have an auto locking differential. I've heard some people say it doesn't automatically lock as fast as they'd like. There is a trick to it as well. You kind of have to give it the beans, so to speak. You have to really accelerate, so you initiate a lot of slip so that it can say, okay, you're slipping, let me automatically lock it. So we do have to kind of do that for the other trims. As far as the ZR2, you don't. You can just go ahead. Oh yeah. As far as the ZR2, you can just push the button and you're locked. I think that's the biggest thing with this, the upgrade that a lot of people, if you're gonna be going off-road, you're gonna wanna have it this way. Okay, so we're gonna do some fun unpaved roads situation. So I changed my gauge cluster to kind of show me my off-road kind of look to it. And this guy, I do have the option in the off-road mode to go to Baja and see that information, terrain and overlanding, that kind of stuff. But I'm gonna go ahead and actually not do this. I'm gonna use my front-facing camera. I want to show you guys all the different things that you guys, so you guys can see. If you don't see the forward part, you at least can see it through the front-facing camera, which is pretty neat. So let's go ahead and also switch our drive mode. So let me close that off, and we are going to go to Baja mode. Okay, reducing electronic stability control will provide optimal drive mode performance. So we won't let it go ahead and we won't reduce it, just to keep us safe, because I'm not too familiar with how this truck drives, especially in unpaved roads like this. So we'll set it up, and we have Baja mode. It says for driving fast over sandy terrain, optimizes power delivery control and stability control, reset when you turn off the vehicle, so that kind of thing. It says helpful tips. Always use caution when cresting a hill due to a limited line of sight. Front-facing camera is going to help that out. Lowering tire pressure can enhance traction in extreme off-road conditions, yes. And then switch to terrain mode if you get stuck in deep sand. So we'll keep it there. Thank you for that information. We'll switch the camera, and away we go. So it definitely is letting the tires slip a little bit more. Oh, significantly more. So we are definitely getting some, you know, some angle in this. And then now we go to the kind of paved bridge here, and yeah. So we are still in two-wheel drive mode. Let me go ahead and put it in for high. Oh yeah, we can definitely feel the stability definitely increase the moment that we went ahead and we put that on. Yeah, we hit a nice big bump there, and yeah, it took it. Suspension is great. No issues with, you know, feeling a lot more stable now that we put it in that 4 high. Yeah, I didn't realize that we were in 2 high still. But this is what this is all about. You know, having that lifted suspension, having those big wheels and tires, just definitely a lot of fun. And that turbo engine just to get, you know, this guy set. So it's definitely a fun little truck. I've been surprised at how good this guy has been in these kind of situations. And we've taken it rock crawling, and not even this, but even just the Z71, you know, more civilized one is just so much, it's just so much capability of being able to get that truck through some really tough situations. So we're gonna go from a stop and see how this behaves. Yeah, traction control is kicking in. Okay, so that was with two high. So now if we go ahead and we switch it to 4 high, I just kind of want to see how much better traction we can get when we are in 4 high and get the power down, because I was in one same spot for a while. So we've gone ahead, switched it to 4 high, gave myself a little bit more room, and let's go ahead and load it up. Ready, go. Oh yeah, we were going. We were going right off the bat. We didn't have to wait and get the power to finally go down. So it definitely was kicking in. And we put it back to 2 high and we have a little bit of fun. But again, I wish I had a gear selector so that I can choose what gear it is in, and I can shift it so that I don't have to hammer it down and then have to counter steer for it. I want to be able to downshift and counter steer and know how much I'm counter steering, because I know what gear it is going to be in. But overall, this has been so much fun to drive this guy, even on the roads. But on this unpaved road, this is what it's all about, having all this fun with this power, and just it's just a blast. Well guys, I hope you've enjoyed my review of the Colorado ZR2, and remember, find the right gear. See ya. Oh.